Bourbon, I think it said on your when I saw your picture.
Aye, Bourbon.
So, good evening and welcome to 2024's Tasting Bothy, Clark.
Hey, here we are again.
Yes, for our third year. 3 years. 3 years we've been doing this, Clark.
Golly, it doesn't seem like 3 years, does it?
I know. It doesn't even seem like a year ago that we actually were chatting about what we'd had in 2022, and we were just starting 2023. It was so. I just feel like, I don't know, the last 12 months really flew in. And we maybe didn't drink as many drams as we did in 2021. But I think 2021 was an exceptional year because of COVID.
Aye. And we seem to have a lot of bottles lying about ready to be drunk.
Well, that's correct. We'd never done it before. So we had a lot to go at. We had an awful lot to go at.
With plenty of source material.
And then we had plenty of opportunities because friends of ours kept sending us stuff to sample as well. So we've had quite a bit to go on.
What happened to these good friends?
I know. We need to re-engage with them. But hopefully 2024 will allow us to get out a wee bit more. There's a couple of places I'd like to go and visit locally that we can just, catch the train or the bus, because we're of that age now that we get free bus passes to travel by bus.
Your folks they'll not believe you, Willie. So just they'll not believe you.
I know. And the good news is that Falkirk Distillery will be starting their tours, which is just a wee wander down the hill for us if we want to go to the Falkirk Distillery. Rosebank this year will be opening its doors. So that's excellent. My daughter bought me this Edinburgh Distillery whiskey at Christmas time, and it's at the castle, so a wee jaunt through in the train.
That's no far away at all.
So, no. Yep. So I think this year there might be maybe a few distillery tours. We'll be away with the caravan, so a wee trip to King's Barns could be on the cards at Tobermory. So there's a lot in the offing for us.
Aye, good.
So we'll either be picking up samples that we can use here on the Tasting Bothy, or we'll be doing live tastings out somewhere in the field, which sounds quite exciting. Yes. So it'll be coming to us. And tonight we have got a Crabbies 12-year-old that you shared with me and sent me a wee sample bottle over for us to go at. So I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
But before we get there, 2023, what were your top three drams? What did you come up with your top three drams for 2023?
This is purely by the scores I gave them in the book.
Yes, well, that's the only way we can score them.
Because I don't have any of these. I can go back and taste them again, compare them. Right. So completely, just straight from the numbers in the book. My third one with a 91 out of 100 was the Macallan Genesis.
The Genesis, right? Okay, right. That was my second one. I gave that the second highest score. I gave that a 93, Clark.
There you go. Right. Okay.
Right.
A good half. Really good dram. My second was the Ardbeg Bizarrebecue, which I gave 92.
That Bizarrebecue was lovely. I didn't score it as high as that. I gave that an 89, actually, the Bizarrebecue.
I really liked it. I really liked it.
Right. Okay.
But my number one, at a staggering 93 out of 100, was the Strathclyde.
You'll never believe this. I gave the Strathclyde a 94.
Oh, there you
go. We actually have a dram. That was a Cadenhead, Strathclyde Cadenhead.
Yes, that's
so
right.
that has to be your top dram for 2023.
Well, a 93.
We didn't both give it the same score, but 93, 94 out of 100. Then yes. Right. So there we are. if there's anybody that's wondering what you think you want to go and buy yourself or try, Clark and I would recommend the Strathclyde Cadenheads. That would be the one for us from the tasting bothy for 2023.
Yep. There you
Excellent.
go.
Excellent.
It's good we can agree on that.
Well, aye. I mean, and to be fair, I think over the last 3 years as we've done this, we've always had one dram that stood out for us. And in it, I mean, that Ben Romack, the 15-year-old Ben Romack we had, was a superb dram that the two of us really enjoyed. The Colila 18-year-old, we both enjoyed that previously. So it's been interesting that we seem to have one that sits out, and we didn't have the same tastes necessarily in malt whiskies.
Not exactly, no. Close enough.
We're close enough, but we do, when we do these tastings in the evening, sometimes we can be far away. I mean, I can be giving them 60s and 70s, where you're giving them 80s and 90s and vice versa. So to have one that's come out in the way it has, it's great. It's just, shows that it was a good dram. We really enjoyed it, and that's our recommendation for 2023. Tonight, though, we've got a Crabbies.
We have a Crabbies.
Not one that I know much about, Clark. Not one that I can say I've actually had before.
It's not one I know much about either, other than the fact I've managed to drink all of that.
I'm presuming you've shared it with somebody else, so you've not just drank all that yourself. Well, you have, because I've got some here in a glass.
well, that's it. I don't know. Maybe there's somebody else in the house that gives them a half. I can't remember. But there's a good chance I might have just drank it.
Well, that's all right. You're allowed to do that.
That's what it's for.
Yes.
I got that one from my missus last year for my Christmas, so I've had it for a whole year. So that's no bad going.
And this is the first time I'm tasting it, for goodness sake. I can't believe that, Clark.
I can't believe it either.
And so, what cask type is it then? So obviously we've got oak casks, but is it
this
been matured in something else? It's a bourbon cask.
It's a bourbon cask, guy. That's all it's been. It's just about 12 years in a bourbon cask.
And is it a 40% ABV?
It is 40%, yes, it is.
Good.
Yep, that's about as much as I can tell you about it.
Smashing. Then without further ado, we'll get into the taste of it. It's very, 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 very light, Clark.
It is, aye.
For having,
it is, aye.
Aye, but within the bourbon cask, it's got that kind of hue in it that you would expect to get from a bourbon.
It's a nice golden. A nice gold, aye.
Yep. So get a wee swivel and I'll get a wee bit of nose in this.
See what you think?
Oh, it's very fresh. That's lovely and fresh. I like fresh drams like that.
You do. I've noticed that. Yeah.
I do, aye.
You do.
Oh, I do like when I get a nose like that. It's like crisp apples. It's got that fresh, crispy apple nose.
A bit of vanilla there as well, as you'd expect.
Yeah. A wee bit citrus in there as well, so I've got that fresh apple citrusy stuff.
Sure. Yep.
I do like that. It's not complicated at all.
No, not quite simple.
No, there's not a lot of stuff going on. It is quite clear when you nose it that you've got like kind of three kind of things in it. That fresh apple, citrusy, that wee bit vanilla. It's also got that, I don't know, that kind of linseedy. You know what I mean? That.
Aye.
It's not the same as you get. It's a kind of chemically, like a waxy nose to it.
Well, I was going to say there's a kind of wee kind of honeycomb kind of.
Aye. Yeah.
It's kind of.
But no, I like that nose. That's a nice. This is going to be a nice start to 2024.
I hope so.
Let's have a wee taste it on the thrapple.
Right, well, hopefully we didn't disappoint us now after a nice nose.
Yep. So let me start by saying Happy New Year, Clark. Welcome to 2024. And here is the tasting bothy again for another year.
Again.
Slange.
Cheers, I'll drink to that.
Well, the first thing that hits me is the spiciness of it.
It is spicy, aye. It is, isn't it?
And that's a right kind of gingery heat that you get for that, the kind of thing that you get with a mouthful of ginger. Not getting much else though. That crispy appleness again, that fresh thing.
Sure.
There's a wee bit more on the finish actually than there is in the actual palate of it. I like it, and it's got a lovely warm finish. That's where I get the vanilla, is actually on the finish. It's got that creaminess to it.
Yeah.
And you've had the nose of the apples at the start, and you get creamy. It's like having apple pie.
It's a bit like that. I was sitting having a wee Glenmorangie this afternoon with my father-in-law, and I remember thinking, this is a very uncomplicated half. There's nothing. It's an easy drinking kind of thing, but there's nothing particularly remarkable about it. There's nothing that stands out. This is a wee bit like that.
It is.
It's nice, it's smooth, it's easy to drink, but there's nothing particular that you would point and go, oh, it tastes particularly off. Apart from, as you say, a wee bit of apple, a wee bit of creaminess,
Yeah. I can see why there isn't much left in the bottle, Clark, because it's one of those ones you could sit down at night and just
have a wee half.
You could sit down. Yes, you could sit down at night quite happily and have a wee half on your own while you're watching the telly with your feet up.
Quite easy, aye.
And now I've actually tasted it, it actually intensifies the nose on that appleness, that kind of furniture polishy waxy note to it kind of thing. I like that. I like the nose. I think the nose is very nice. I'd maybe say I'm a wee bit underwhelmed though by the palate and the finish. Like you're saying, it's a nice dram to drink.
Easy. It's
easy. It's not a remarkable dram. Yeah.
Not at all. No. Yeah. And as you always say, if you're a beginner and you're new to malt whiskies, this would be just fine.
This would be really, really just fine for you. It would have that. You would be getting an authentic single malt whiskey. That's just if somebody said to you, "What does a malt whiskey taste like?" without getting into all the various bits and pieces of smokiness and peatiness and earthiness, or the saltiness of the west coasts or whatever. This is it's a Speyside malt. It's a kind of thing. It's a typical Speyside malt, as you would expect to get from a Dalwhinnie or a Glenmorangie or Glenlivet, whatever. It's a lovely dram.
It's a nice dram. It is, huh? Right.
I have put some numbers on the board. I put my first numbers on the board for this year.
I've given that a reasonable score. Not a tremendous score, but a reasonable score.
Yeah. I think it's not a bad start for 2024. My score.
I agree as well. Right. Yeah.
So the first one for 2024, I've scored the 80, Clark.
Well, as usual, I've done you a wee bit. I've come a bit higher than you. I've given it an 86 because I do like it.
Right.
No, it's not a brilliant dram, but it is a good dram. and I like
Yep.
it. So,
Well, I
I've
think
come
8 out
away
of 10's a fair. 8 out of 10's no bad. 8.6 out of 10 for you.
Well, that's right. That's
Aye.
8.5. Aye, I think it's good. I like it. As you can see, there's so
Excellent.
much left in the bottle.
Aye, but then again, that's what your wife bought it for your Christmas for.
She did. Uh-huh.
She bought it for you to drink. She didn't buy it for you to sit in the shelf and no drink
Well,
it.
I'm pleased. I'm pleased about that because she bought me 2 this year, so we'll need to get around to tasting them at some point.
Yes, but we'll try and no wait till 2025.
When I've just about drank it all.
Anyway,
Good.
that's our first 15 minutes of fame for 2024 in the tasting bothy. We'll see.
This is what fame's like, is it?
It is. Aye, this is what fame's like. This is as good as it gets, I think.
That's
But
fine.
hey, if this is, I'm quite happy with this type of, being, this type of fame. I've not got newspapers at the door knocking on the door trying to interview me. I've not got loads of stuff going on. It was just two laddies enjoying the dram together and having a bit of a laugh. So anyway, we will bid those farewell that will watch us at some point in the next days or so. There's nobody alive today, so I didn't really advertise it as much as I normally do, so I've got no live takers on it. I might try and see if we can get them live on our Instagram page at some point as well. That might pick them up, but we'd certainly had people before that catch us on YouTube when I advertise it properly. But tonight I just I put it on. We didn't have a set time or anything for what we're going to do, so most folk probably realise that we're normally on about 7:30 and they're maybe hanging about going, they didn't normally come on to 7:30, so we'll catch them then. But no, it's been good. We'll bid them a farewell, and we'll see them again. If we didn't see them through the week, we'll see them through the window, and we'll chat again on another dram in the tasting bothy in a few weeks' time. Good night, folks. See you soon.
That's good.
Bye now.
Good night.